Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Gatto of the Impractical Jokers is currently under fire, having some pretty serious allegations thrown at him, and there's quite a lot of evidence to back it up. Unfortunately, I'm a huge fan of the Impractical Jokers. If you haven't seen the show, it's basically these four guys who do like social experiments, public pranks on people. They record it, they dare each other to do like these funny things, and essentially it's been running for close to like 20 years, right? And Joe Gatto is one of the cast members. He ended up leaving the show to kind of focus on his family, being with his children, because, they're growing up. He's been out of their life, ever since they were young. Now, some of the allegations in this video, before we dive into it, just don't make a lot of sense. A lot of things are left out. Again, there's more room for like things to come in later, but I covered everything and I looked into it. Essentially what happened was Joe Gatto invited this girl to a event because they met publicly, right? She was like, "Oh, I'm a big fan. Let's take pictures." He said, "Are you guys coming to my comedy show tonight?" They weren't going because they had no idea there was a comedy show tonight. So he invited them. He said, "Hey, if you guys come, there's a meet and greet pass for you guys." They went to the event. They got their meet and greet passes. They had a great time at the show. They met Joe Gatto at the end. And then I guess she started texting him on Instagram. And essentially, she and her roommate talked about it. And her roommate kind of implied, "Hey, you should go to Joe Gatto's hotel room."
I went home and I had a crazy roommate at the time. And so I was drinking not because of her, just because I was drinking, because I like to drink anyway. And she kind of was half convincing me to do it. Like, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. Like, do it for the plot, blah, blah, blah. So I was drunk, whatever. And then he was texting me all this stuff, and, like, it was starting to get a little weird, you know?
And so they were texting, having a good time. He flirted with her a little. He said she looked good. She reciprocated and said, "Oh, you're the star here, really." And they just kept talking back and forth. Essentially, she accepted the invite to his hotel room, but she kind of left out the part between this. Like, it went from them talking about her. She was like, "Oh, I'm just drinking and hanging out with my friend." And then it skipped to Joe inviting her to the hotel room, right? So there's a few things missing, right? Essentially, she's trying to claim that she was drunk and he took advantage of her. And it's taken years for her story to finally come out. And personally, just all of the evidence in this video just does not add up to that. And I'm not willing to make that connection or make that conclusion yet either. You're allowed to if you really want to, but let's just get into it. Now, this is Juicy B over here on TikTok. 21K followers. This girl is the one who is making the allegations against Joe, the one who has the evidence. This photo right here is probably going to be blurred because it is a picture of her cheek. Not this cheek, but the other cheek, and it has a bruise on it. Not sure if YouTube would be very nice or very kind of me for showing that image, but let's just start at the beginning. Now, this all goes back about 6 days ago where she posted this TikTok saying, "My nights never fail to end with me ruining them." And it's a TikTok of her like in a white shirt that should have expected the ending. And it has like a Kanye song. And it's her like getting all dressed up and she's crying here. And that's kind of all we had to go on, right? Nobody knew what this was about. Maybe her friends, personal family, things like that might have known, but nobody beyond, this small little niche community knew what the heck was going on. And the next most, I guess, useful TikTok in this saga says, "Even the good ones aren't safe. Trust me." And this was from 1 day ago. It says, "Little did she know that night after meeting her first celebrity, he would change how she views all famous people for the rest of her life."
Got here. There's a lot of people here. I love this one parking garage just because it smells like the airport spawn. Having a lovely time.
Right, so she clearly traveled. She flew out to go see Mr. Joe Gatto. And again, here's the photo that's probably going to be blurred out. Let me move it to the side so you can see the text. It says, "Yes, he did SA me. Yes, he had just gotten back together with his wife. I'm sorry you guys don't want to hear it, but this is probably going to get taken down. But here's what he did with his teeth. And again, it's a picture of her cheek with a pretty rough bruise. Again, we're going to base off of what this is saying. If he didn't do this, of course, I will let you all know. But this is just what she's putting out there. I'm not accusing him. I'm not saying he did this. This is just what she's saying. And now probably the most damaging video, the most informative video that provides the most context is this one that says, I don't know what my goal is. I just want people to be aware that not everyone is who you think, from one day ago.
I got assaulted by Joe Gatto, the Impractical Joker. I'm so sorry I was at work and I didn't think that shit was gonna blow up. I've literally been posting about this shit for over a year. And I've been DMing celebrities, other people, like trying to get my story out there. And one goddamn little TikTok that follows this little trend about a celebrity, then it fucking blows up. And you guys don't believe me. Why do you think I was... Yeah, I got assaulted by Joe Gatto, the Impractical Joker. I'm sorry if you don't want to believe it, but the people you idolize are not always going to be good. They're going to do shitty things, and they're going to take advantage of people because of that. Like, I'm not saying it was, I think some of it was my fault. I don't fucking know how this shit works, but I just posted the proof, and I have not told you guys half of it.
So again, it's a little interesting. She already kind of points out, she said, I think some of it was my fault. We are in an era right now where a lot of people use a lot of words that have definitions, that have very precise meanings, and people kind of change the way these words work. There is a difference from, Joe Gatto being a married man with children, cheating. Cheating is not good. Cheating is not good. But cheating is not, SA. Having fun, being a little frisky, being a little rough in the bedroom, again, with consent and everything, is not SA. So, again, we're kind of going to get into the evidence again. That's just my thoughts on this entire situation. She herself even said, yeah, it could have been my fault, which kind of is basically saying, like, yeah, I gave him permission, but now I regret it, kind of, right? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Again, I could be wrong. Now, here's the next video she posted. It says, I just want people to listen, play in 2x speed, or skip to halfway. Now, this next video that I'm going to show, all of her TikToks, I'm going to kind of splice them up a little bit. It's not because I'm trying to edit anything out of context or anything. It's just because she rambles a bit. There's like cats in the background and things like that, things that are irrelevant to the video, and the video's about 10 minutes long. So I'm going to just splice things out to make it a little more condensed to just get to the point. I hope you understand.
So I wanted to come out here and share my story right out flat and how it is, and finally get it out there, because I didn't know how to or if it would ever gain attention, and now I have some, so here's my time to shine. Here we go. My first interaction with this man was at brunch with my mom and my sister, and we were all fangirling. We were like, no fucking way. Literally, look. Couldn't believe it. And nobody else really recognized him, so of course we went up. And we asked for a picture because nobody else was. So, of course, we're going to be those annoying bitches. So, yeah, we went up. We took pictures. Here's me. Here's my sister. My sister is a way bigger fan than me. I'm literally only an Impractical Jokers fan because of her. She used to watch it every single night before bed. So, while we were over there taking pictures with him, he had asked us if we were going to his comedy show that night. We knew nothing about said comedy show, but we would have gone together. My sister used to live here, and now she lives somewhere else, whatever. She had plans that night, she couldn't go. So I wanted to go with a friend. Those are hard to find, so I couldn't find a friend to go with me. So I had messaged, said sir, because he had liked my Instagram story and whatnot. So I was like, okay, maybe I can get some free tickets, because I don't know. I've never met a celebrity before. This is literally the first celebrity I've ever met in my life. And it low-key worked. So here's my Instagram story. Here's the text I sent him, like, crazy to meet you. Gonna try and get tickets to your show. Awesome to meet you. For sure come. It'll be fun. Got tickets. Trying to find someone to come. Awesome. I'll leave 2 meet and greet passes for you at the box office under your name so you can come back and say hello. Have fun.
Okay, so here is the messages that she shows. She's covering half of it, but it basically says like, "Thank you for the picture. Sorry for interrupting. It was nice to meet you. Something Monday, Sunday. Going to try blank blank for your show tonight. Awesome to meet you for sure. Come, it'll be fun. I just bought 2 tickets. Now I have to find someone to come with me. Haha, I can't wait. Awesome. I'll leave 2 meet greet passes for you at the box office under your name so you can come back and say hello. Have fun." So basically like these passes are what you show like the guard, right? And he'll be like, "Hey, come on back. You know, you got Joe's permission, right?"
Long story short, I had an entire row, like barred off row in the Pabst Theater in Milwaukee to myself and 2 other people, I believe, that were on like the opposite end, but there was literally like a million seats in between us. Don't mind him. But it was fun. Whatever. I did the meet and greet at the end. I skipped to the head of the line and took some pics with Dude, and here are the pics. So here's one. Here's another one. Looks, yeah. Oh, here's a little pic from the comedy show. Why does he look so small? So after that all happened, I went home and I had a crazy roommate at the time. And so I was drinking not because of her, just because I was drinking, because I like to drink anyway. And she kind of was half convincing me to do it. Like, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. Like, do it for the plot, blah, blah, blah. So I was drunk, whatever. And then he was texting me all this stuff, and, like, it was starting to get a little weird, you know? Oh, I totally forgot about this. I cried when I met him. I was so overwhelmed. Like, this was a, like, big personal experience for me to go and do something by myself like this.
I want to point out the fact that comment, that little part where she said her friend convinced her for the plot. What does that mean? Are we going to avoid that? Are we going to pretend like you also weren't a part of this? Like you weren't trying to rizz up Mr. Joe Gatto and he obliged? Are we going to pretend that? Right? Like, you can't say a man is like, you know, bad and all this and he essayed you and all this. Yet your friend and you are kind of like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I'll hit this guy up and ask to have a good time tonight. I don't know. It's already off to a bumpy start. So we have these messages. It says, "So happy you loved it. Sorry I made you cry. Haha, no worries. All good tears. Okay, good. You look great in those pictures. So that's good. Thank you. Blank, blank, blank of the picture." It says, "I think you're the star of the picture, though. Debatable." The story replies, "Agree with me. Glad I'm giving you street cred.
Glad I'm giving you street cred.
I'd rather have real friends or street cred anyway. Just show of what people fuck."
Low key. And then I'm like drunk. And I'm being honest because it's a celebrity. I don't know how they work. So I'm like, I'd rather have real friends.
Just gotta show off what people missed. Fuck yes, what a day.
Street cred, just gotta show the people what they missed. What did it say? Fuck yes, what a day. Fuck yeah.
F yes. Hope the rest of your night is equally epic. Just drinking and hanging out. Hope yours is too, right? So this is very friendly conversation. Joe is like, "Oh, I'm glad you had such a great time. Clearly nothing bad happened. She went to the show. She had a good time. Joe had a good time. He put on a good performance, good jokes, all that good stuff. She came to the back. They took pictures. They had a good time. Everything was cordial. Everything was friendly. He's I wouldn't say he's giving her dry responses, but he's just being nice. He's like, heck yeah, I'm glad you had a good one. Have a good night. You know, hope the rest of your night is equally epic. That's like a part where you can stop texting. Like you could, if you did not want anything to do with this man, you could be done. Okay. But you keep going. You say just drinking and hanging out. Hope yours is too. Which is okay, I guess. I don't know. It seems like you're kind of like, again, you keeping the conversation going, right? So let's see what Joe says.
Hope the rest of your night is epic. So I didn't get much of that, and I was drunk and crazy roommate, so doesn't make the best combination. But I did get the one screen or like picture of my phone of him on vanish mode texting me the instructions to get to his apartment. not apartment, hotel room.
Okay, so,
So
from what I'm seeing
honest, good
is
people.
somehow it literally went from her saying like, "Oh, I'm drinking," and
So I
she
think
didn't
so.
screenshot anything else
So
somehow.
to the mode. Somebody led me to the elevator, and somebody was on the elevator with me and pressed the button. Sorry, my cat.
I guess he went to vanish mode, which is like Instagram's feature of like when you're in vanish mode, when you leave it, everything's deleted. Right? It's like Snapchat. And so I guess he was like, "Hey, come over, let's hang out." If you're an adult, you know what that means. It means, "Hey, we're both adults. Want to come over, hang out, Netflix and chill? If you're down to clown, we're going to clown." She was more than willing to go over and clown. Again, I don't think cheating is good, but I also don't think cheating is SA.
So this is me in the elevator.
Okay, that's her in the
Didn't see
elevator. Clearly very excited, right? The eyes. Again, I'm not going to judge how drunk she was, right? I'm not a doctor. There's no bloodshot eyes. She looks completely sober. She was sober enough to get to this place, get in the elevator, take this photo happy. Again, it doesn't take like a rocket scientist to do all this stuff, but she was sober enough to like get to this point and be like, "Yeah, I'm about to hang out with Joe Gatto. This is awesome."
Oh, it's a video, but I don't. Yeah. Well, I also have like the timestamp down here. I wanted to show that.
Okay, so this was in September 9th, 2023.
late-
So almost 2 years ago at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. How many times do you go to people's homes, apartments, houses, hotel rooms at 2 a.m. just for like a cordial hangout? Personally, I've never done that. I would assume if a woman was like, "Hey, come over. I'm glad we had a good night. Come on over to my house at 2 a.m." Your boy's gonna think I'm getting some action, right? I'm sure that she knew that as well. Women also like action. That is what it is.
It was this, I think, when I left. But yeah, then some stuff happened. I don't want to go into the details about everything, but
Some stuff happened. She's accusing him of SA, but she doesn't want to get into the details of it. Interesting.
I'm not going to show the picture that I posted on my account before of
Her
of
bruised butt. Her bruised butt.
but it just like the things he said, and like he was bragging like about things, and just was, it was just, I don't want any girl to feel like that and to have, don't meet your stars. He wasn't my star, but like, don't dig your foot where it doesn't belong. Really. And everything about me when I went there.
So yeah, it was a 10-minute video of her basically saying, "Oh yeah, I met Joe Gatto at a restaurant. He was having a comedy show that night. He invited us, so we got tickets. We went there. He invited me backstage. We took pictures. We had a great time. Nothing was inappropriate or anything. I started texting him apparently while I was drunk. Then I went to his hotel on my own ordeal, on my own my own abilities. Obviously she wasn't too drunk to get there, to get a Uber, get a taxi, drive there, to get to the hotel, tell them, "Hey, I'm here to meet Gatto. Hey, I need to get to the elevator," right? None of these interactions, somehow nobody was like, "Oh, this woman is absolutely wasted. She's absolutely wasted. Joe Gatto's gonna take so much advantage of her. I feel so bad." No, none of that happened. It was a woman who just probably took a sip or two of alcohol, was feeling a little frisky with Joe Gatto. Her roommate even pretty much proved that. She encouraged it. She did it. They went there. They had a good time privately. I guess she didn't like it after the fact. She felt bad because she might be a home wrecker. He also cheated on his wife possibly. And now she regrets it. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't agree with cheating. Hot take, cheating is not a good thing. But to accuse Joe Gatto of like SA and being this horrible person, trying to cancel him, And there's not a lot to go off of here. There's really nothing here. And now here's the post of her in vanish mode. It says, not sure why it got taken down the first time. Joe Gatto, this is his Instagram. It says vanish mode, seen messages will disappear when you close the chat. Again, it's like Snapchat. When you close that chat, all of that stuff is gone. If you can't do the press button for me, trick to get to 7. I'll come down and not get out of the elevator. You just get in. Let me know when you get here. Right? So yeah, there might be a little bit of sneakiness going on here, a little bit of infidelity, a little bit of cheating. But again, cheating is not illegal. Cheating is not... I don't think cheating is worth like ruining someone's life over. This is something that Joe Gatto would have to deal with his own family, with his wife, his children. And that's even if he was married at this time. Again, this was from 2023. And in her first post, she mentioned like she was in the phase of like getting back together. So they could have been on a break. They could have been going through a divorce. And this was like right before they worked things out and got back together. And again, he's a celebrity. He probably just doesn't want people to see him bringing women into his room because again, it's a bad look if it's not your wife, if it's not a girlfriend, someone you're seeing, and you're just bringing women up to your hotel room. But again, it's a dude, she's a woman, they're both adults. They both cordially talked this through, had this back and forth to meet up with one another and do this. Again, it's consent, right? The way I feel is like, again, at any time she could have stopped texting. I feel like Joe played this out very smart. He gave her plenty of times, even bit of dry conversation, to stop texting. You know, if I'm texting someone and they're just like, okay, well, hope you have a great night. Oh, hope the rest of your night is great. That usually means like, okay, I'm going to go do something else now. Can you stop texting me in a nice way? She did not accept that. She kept texting. She was like, hey, I'm a little tipsy. Obviously, you know, he gave her a few compliments. He probably thought she's a pretty girl. He probably, of course, knew her age. He knew she's an adult. He's an adult. Again, cheating is not good. There was nothing like illegal, no SA involved in this situation from what we have. And yeah, I literally looked through her page just to kind of make sure. That's literally all we have. We have a girl who met Joe Gatto at a public place, took a picture, they had conversations. I'm guessing things got a little flirty. She forgot to include that. Don't you think that's interesting? She forgot to include the messages of how this came to be. She just said, oh, I've been drinking. And then all of a sudden, they're in vanish mode and he's sending her hotel like instructions, like what to do with the elevator. That does not add up. Obviously, we understand that Joe is trying to get his weenie wet, right? But we don't know what happened between that. I'm not going to make any leaps. I'm not going to make any type of connections because personally, again, you know, like we're dealing with in this world, the Harry Sisson stuff, there's a whole lot of stuff. There's words that get thrown around for every little thing. SA, you know, victims, allegations. Nothing in this situation shows to me that Joe Gatto is a monster, right? He's a cheater if he was with his wife during all of this. I want to know what you guys think down below. Let me know if Joe is tonight's big loser. Is Joe tonight's big loser? I don't think so. Maybe a bad time for jokes, but it is what it is. Thank you for watching, guys. Peace out.